Welcome to Golf Industry Guru and the Gig Podcast, where we interview the best and brightest golf and hospitality leaders on the planet. On today's episode, you will learn some proven real-world solutions that'll help you and your team solve some of your biggest golf business challenges. So stick around for some tips, tools, and training to get you, your people, and your business powered on. Here's your host, James Cronk.
Well, hello, Gig Nation. It is James Cronk, and I am back again with another Golf Industry Guru podcast, and thrilled today to have as my guest Todd Keirstead of ParaGolf Canada. Todd, my goodness, go to LinkedIn, check out Todd's profile, and then you're going to do what I'm going to do, which is ask him the very first most important question is what exactly was the number one trick shot that you are recognized for, because I have seen numerous trick shots now on the internet. I was learning about Todd and his efforts with ParaGolf Canada and many other things, and ended up going down the rabbit hole of watching videos of Todd as a motivational speaker, as a host of functions and events, and also as obviously with regards to trick shots. So, Todd, welcome to the Golf Industry Guru podcast.
James, thanks so much for having me, my friend. This is awesome. So I got into trick shots. I've been a PGA professional for over 20 years. For the last probably 19 years, I've had the incredible privilege of traveling around the world, helping raise millions of dollars for various charities through golf entertainment, through trick shots and such. Been voted Trick Shot of the Year on the Golf Channel, as you said, been on ESPN, Sports Illustrated. I've even been on TMZ on 4 different occasions, and not in a scandalous fashion. Let's get that right off the bat. But by hitting golf balls with various celebrities, and it's how I've honed my craft and have raised a lot of money for various charities by doing golf entertainment.
And when you were a golf professional, or I know you are a golf professional, but did you just kind of learn that you had this talent of hand-eye coordination and get into the, a good friend of mine, Brad Ewart, I don't know if you remember Brad, he's a West Coast guy.
Exactly.
And I remember Brad we used to work together, Western Plateau back in the day, like 20 years ago. And one time he hit a ball off of a tee that was in my mouth, and I was never more scared lying on that tee deck. But did you always kind of have that talent?
You know what? Never knew I had it, but it was sheer boredom on the driving range. Literally, grinding it out on the range, working on my golf game, that I got into hitting trick shots. And I realized really quickly that I had hand-eye coordination, and that was the hand-eye coordination. Just I figured out shots, and I now put on an hour-long hitting demonstration in front of a live audience. And what a lot of people know, as you know, with knowing Brad, that trick shots are viral right now. Trick shots are going crazy on social media. But what a lot of people don't know is the camera's rolling for 3 or 4 hours to get that one lucky shot. And there's a handful of us in the world that can literally put on an hour-long trick shot instructional demonstration in front of a live audience and not really miss. So it's kind of a cool little niche we're all into, because it's creating fun, it's creating awareness, but we're all doing good. We're all doing great stuff for various charities. So it literally fell into my lap through sheer boredom on the driving range.
And then you obviously turned that trick shot exposition also into motivational speaking and messaging. And so maybe could you just share with me, like, how did you go from, hitting a ball, off standing on a rubber ball, hitting a golf ball? How did you go from that into inspirational messages? And what are those messages that you would share with your audience? And were you doing that? Were those messages while you were hitting balls? Is that the...
No, it actually, literally my career path changed in 2014. I was doing a demonstration for a veterans hospital outside of Tampa, Florida, doing the hour-long trick shot demonstration. But it was because of the audience. It was wounded veterans that were affected horrendously through the theater of war. But I realized really quickly that a lot of the shots I was hitting for pure entertainment value, they were actually emulating the wounded veterans that were in attendance. So I was hitting golf balls blindfolded. There were guys that were affected by mustard gas in the Vietnam War and lost their sight. I was swinging with one arm, showing the correlation between sports and golf and tennis. And I looked out, there were arm amputees. I was hitting golf balls standing on one leg amputees, hitting golf balls off my knees, double leg amputees, even hitting golf balls out of a Costco fold-out chair. There were individuals that were in a wheelchair situation. So it literally immediately turned the light bulb on to me that, okay, I've been doing this for years for entertainment and for fun and for laughter, but with the right audience, this now turned into a motivational message, because I was changing the mindset from these wounded veterans that, yes, maybe you can't play the game of golf the way that you used to, but here's an adaptive way to play without even me knowing it. But by hitting the shots that I took for granted with the right audience, it turned the light bulb on to me that it was a little bit more powerful than really what I was doing throughout the years. So that's how it came about, this one demonstration for the right audience. Then I started working with a lot of ill and injured soldiers, started working with a lot of individuals with various abilities, whether it be leg amputees, arm amputees, things like that. And I started to hear the stories, and I started to put together these stories on how powerful and the adversity that these individuals came from. And I really never thought, I'm getting a little bit long-winded right now, but
No.
I never really thought I had a story for myself. And a very, very good friend of mine, his name's Paul Rosen. Now, Paul was a 3-time Paralympian for Team Canada in sledge hockey. Him and I were friends, and him and I used to do some motivational stuff together, some speaking stuff together. And I never really had my own story. I was sharing stories from other individuals. But then another life-changing moment, September 16th, 2016, I went in for a routine procedure at a hospital, and things went a little bit sideways. I was on the operating table. I went into a respiratory arrest. I went into a code blue. I actually flatlined, and I was dead for literally 4.5 minutes. They got me going again. They induced a coma. They cut me open. They got things going again. But I woke up 23 hours later out of that induced coma. But now I had my own story. Now I had my own story on the value of time. And I know time is our most precious commodity. Time is our most valuable resource, but time is the thing that we most often take for granted. And a lot of my talks that I do is about the value of time. I'm a sports guy. I grew up playing sports all my life, and I think about what is the most exciting time in sports, and it's when time's about to expire. In hockey, we pull the goalie, we throw the extra attacker on. In basketball, it's the half-court buzzer beater. In football, it's the Hail Mary pass. NASCAR, it's 5 wide around the last turn. They all know when time's about to expire, and there's a sense of urgency. But unfortunately, we don't live our lives like that. So that's how now the motivational talk came in, was just through life situations and life circumstance. And I'm blessed right now with my time now is running forward, where most people's are running backwards.
What an amazing story, Todd. And it reminded me of the talk that you gave at the NGCOA conference a couple of years ago, and how inspirational that talk was. And the question that I had then, and I have that question now, is that someone that would go through the experience that you had on the operating table, and then coming out of that and understanding that they have time, lots of people would then choose to, make the rest of their time about them and what they're going to do, and,
right.
Go to that movie, get to that beach, retire early, whatever it might be, right? Consumption. But what I've noticed about yourself, and I've been doing my, research, and what you're obviously with ParaGolf Canada now, you decided to really give back to a whole group of individuals that are underserved, I guess, in so many ways. And I think that's fascinating. That's so honorable of your choice to really, like you said, to make the most of your time, but really for others. And so my question for you is that what inspired you, was to see that you could help through your skill, through your talent, through your speaking, through your all the different things that you do, your passion, your experience in 2014 with Wounded Veterans. I mean, is that what now drives you to do the things you're doing with ParaGolf Canada?
That's one of the points. I realized really quickly that I was able, as I said, to change the mindset literally from somebody from I can't to I can. A lot of these individuals, whether they are born with a deficiency or they've acclaimed a situation due to whatever, a car accident, a stroke, being able to hit the shots that I can in the trick shot way allows me to put my body in situations where I can pull off these shots successfully, which then turns the ego on for these individuals going, I can do that. And I'm like, hell yeah, you can. But it's just, a lot of people don't think they can do it in an adaptive way. Like somebody in a seated position, we might have to elevate the ball higher than normal because the legs gets in the way if they're in a seated position. Swinging with one arm, it's building up that strength. But another key powerful motivating factor of why I do what I do, like most of us that are listening to the podcast here, we got into the game of golf through our parents. And especially it was through my dad. My dad had me playing golf at such a young age. And he's the one that actually gave me the hand-eye coordination that I have through playing various sports as a child and not realizing what we were doing except having fun. But my dad passed away. But reflecting on his time, he had cancer and he had, they gave him a couple of months to live, and reflecting on the memories that I had of my dad and I growing up and him teaching me the valuable life lessons. When he passed away, I wish I could hit one more shot with my dad. I can't, but if I can give that back to somebody else, that's keeping his legacy alive in me, and it's keeping his memory alive in me. Whether that being, a stroke patient that comes through ParaGolf Canada that wants to hit a golf ball with their grandson or their granddaughter, or just get out of the house and find a purpose again on the golf course. That's kind of my motivating factor, is knowing that I can do it successfully, but it's also keeping my dad's legacy alive in me. And I know most of us have got into the game of golf through our parents, and it's one of my motivating factors.
I love it. So let's talk, one of the things that I really want to understand personally, I want to help me understand, my company manages a golf club in the Okanagan. I have clients all over the country and elsewhere. And this is not something we talk about. This is the game. Inclusivity to the game of golf is not something that has been discussed on a regular basis or chatted about, unless you're all of a sudden standing on a stage once every few years talking to a couple hundred golf club business owners. And our Gig Nation has got gig members from all over the world, Todd. And so yes, we're talking about ParaGolf Canada, but I was just actually speaking the other day with a good friend of mine, Dave Barton from the PGA in the United States, who's getting involved in things such as that. And so tell me a little bit more about what ParaGolf Canada aims to achieve. What is the vision for ParaGolf Canada? And really, as an example, as an extension of that, really any organization around the world that is promoting golf for various different individuals.
So what we're doing is with ParaGolf Canada is we're really creating a pathway for individuals to utilize the game of golf as whether it be their rehabilitation or whether their sense of normalcy again, whatever life is thrown at them. So we have everything from a grassroots development program where we go into, whether it be children's hospital, whether it be health professional offices, physiotherapy clinics and things like that, where it's either reintroducing somebody to the game of golf or introducing them to the game of golf. Then we have a playing abilities part where we take somebody who's already playing the game of golf and trying to get them to the next level. Then from there, we have a national development team where we're actually, I have 12 of the best disabled golfers in Canada that are part of the program. And really, we can go now and compete at various events, whether it be provincially, nationally, or internationally, but going in and having to support. A lot of things with adaptive golf is, and how also I got into it was I saw so many great individuals and great players that were never being supported by companies, by individuals, by governing bodies. And to me, there's strength in numbers. And if we can bring these people together, now somebody has the opportunity to find support, whether it be through sponsorship, support whether it be through equipment, support whether it be through changing the mindset of the golf industry to look at them and say, wow, these guys can actually play the game of golf, and try and make it a sense of normalcy out on the golf course for the staff, for the management. Because the first thing that happens when somebody walks onto the golf course that's in an adaptive situation, all the magnifying glass is on them, because I get it as a golf course owner. The thing that they're looking at, same as they're looking at for everybody, is pace of play and course conditions. And if I can stress to my members that, listen, those are the two things that you're going to be looked at with a magnifying glass. But if you can keep up those two things, you can play golf anywhere. And golf doesn't always have to be 18 holes. Golf could be, 10 shots out of 18 holes, but they're getting the 4.5 hours with their buddies. They're getting out in the power car. They're having a couple of drinks. They're laughing. They're joking. And as I said, golf to them might be 10 holes or 10 shots. Golf also, as I said before, might be going to the driving range and hitting a golf ball with their son or with their grandson or granddaughter or daughter again. But giving them that opportunity again and giving them hope. And that's what we're trying to do with ParaGolf Canada.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm going to ask you a totally ignorant question, because I struggle with this when I'm having this conversation sometimes, and I'm trying to talk about this topic, and I don't mean to be disrespectful in any way, but what is the term of a golfer that has a disability? What is the term that first of all we talk about? Is it a disabled golfer? Is what's the appropriate, respectful, proper term that we're talking about?
Golfer. There we go. But really, if you want to break it down,
of course,
right? But if you want to break it down even more, probably adaptive golfer, and that could be adaptive golfer.
Adaptive golfer. So
and that could be,
my point is this.
That could be somebody that has a back injury, hip injury, knee injury. It doesn't have to be like a leg amputee or arm amputee. Really, we're all differently abled. And that's a word that I use all the time. We're all differently abled, whether it be myself, whether it be you playing together, whether it be Tiger Woods. We're all differently abled. And it's just giving people the opportunity to play the game and feel comfortable at a golf course, at a property where they feel that sense of normalcy again.
100%. And so, but if you're a golf course operator, and we're talking right now on listening to this podcast, or people that run golf courses, manage golf courses, run golf shops, work in clubhouses, et cetera, one of the goals of this message is to create your policy, your program, your welcome script, your guidance around having a welcoming environment for what I would, an adaptive golfer or for, like you said, differently abled, whatever it might be. But it's that's part of it, I think, is having that conversation and having that discussion and being able to say, if I'm going to one of my clients I'm consulting with and saying to them, tell me what your program is to welcome adaptive golfers, they're going to look at me and go, well, we don't have a program. What are you talking about? When someone calls up the golf shop and says, I want to come play golf, but, I've got this or that, or I'm going to be needing this or needing that. Well, lots of golf courses don't have that 18-year-old kid on the phone that knows what to say and answer that question, right? So what are some of the challenges, or what I guess would be some of the messages that you would want to give to a golf course operator to create a welcoming environment, or what are some of the misconceptions? Like you talked about pace of play and course conditions. So what are some of the challenges that you find in your discussions when you're talking to clubs about creating an environment that is more able to welcome everyone?
Well, I think the first thing, and it's a big number, but the statistics show that 22% of all of golfers have quit the game. 22% of all individuals that have played the game have left due to a disability. That's a staggering number. And if we can get back, how many golf courses would love to have an increase by 22%, right? We've got the COVID boom right now and everything like that. But 22% of all golfers have left the game due to whatever physical or mental situation. So that's a staggering number. So what it is, it's creating opportunities for people to play. And I've worked with, I've consulted with a number of golf courses right now. And what we're doing is we're doing almost like an integration program. What I've seen is that's been very, very successful is integrating adaptive golfers into an existing event. Whether we're taking 4 golfers or 5 golfers or 6 golfers and integrating them into a men's night, one men's night out of the year. We take some of our best golfers that are not going to hold up the pace of play, and we integrate them into a members night. Just one. But we're showcasing now the ability. Also integrating adaptive golfers into a junior program, whether it be a junior tour, whether it be a facility that has a great junior program. But now we're taking the next generation of golfers. And whether it's, okay, we're going to spend 2 hours or 3 hours on the driving range, and some of the ParaGolf members are going to hit balls with your junior members. But isn't it great now? Because now that junior is looking at this person going, wow, this gentleman with one leg just outdrove me, or this guy with one arm just chipped it in the hole. But also for the parents to know that their kids are now looking at individuals in a way that they didn't the day before. And what we're trying to do is we're just trying to showcase the talent of these incredible golfers and try and create a sense of normalcy. So there's a bunch of different ways that we can do it. A couple of other golf courses that I've worked with, that I've consulted with, is the last tee time of the day. Let's provide a couple of para golfers, the chance to play 2 or 3 holes, because physically they can't play 9 holes. They can't play 18 holes. So maybe at 7:00 at night, we can let a couple of golfers go out and play and play 3 or 4 holes, or talking with the local physiotherapy facility that's by your house and putting on a golf clinic. To me, I think where we're going to gain our most traction with getting people back into the game, and I love that term, back into the game, because the big thing is grow the game, grow the game, grow the game. But I look at it, the easiest demographic to get to play the game is the ones that we've already had. They already love the game, but they just don't think they can play again. So talking to the rehab clinics, talking to the physiotherapy and saying, listen, we're going to offer a program, one night a month at our golf course. Now we're bringing in new people to the game, and you don't even have to do any work to go get them because they're already there.
What are some of the, when you work with clubs like that, and you talk about that integration and that kind of program to welcome all bodied golfers or able-bodied golfers and disabled golfers to your golf club, what are some of the factors that a club needs to ensure about? I mean, we talk about accessibility, you talk about pressure on not having pressure on the golf course. What are some of the elements that a club can do to make that experience as best as possible?
Well, the first thing I tell the members of ParaGolf Canada, I'm saying, listen, you guys are groundbreakers. You guys are innovators. To me, I come from the other side of the business. I come from, the golf course, the pro shop, things like that. So changing topography of a golf course to make it accessible for 2 people, no. And I explained that to the ParaGolf members. Changing a building structure to accommodate. You know what? I say, guys, we're groundbreakers right now. Let's give the golf course a break. Yes, it might not be accessible as you would like, but it's not about that. It's about the experience out on the golf course. So it's allowing, your pro shop staff, your club guys that are your bag drop to make people feel welcome and not, kind of stare. And that's the first thing we all do. And I have a funny story that a couple of years ago, one of my juniors, was angry, was frustrated. He's like, everybody looks at me differently. And he was angry about it, 16 years old, going through puberty. And I said to him, what's the first thing you do when you see a good looking person walking down the street? And he goes, well, I stare. And I said, okay, why do you stare? I said, you stare because she's not the norm. I said, she's not the norm on this way. You're not the norm on this way as well, too. So people are going to look at you, but you can change the mindset of that person by A, having a good attitude, and B, showing off your talent, showing off your ability. They're not going to think about it. They're not going to look at you when you're playing, when you're keeping up to the pace of play. We don't care how they play, but if you're keeping up to the pace of play, people are not going to be worried about whatever differently able situation that you're in. They just want to play golf. They just want to have fun.
You talked about golf clubs, reaching out or ensuring that the community knows that they are welcoming for all golfers and being inclusive. And then you mentioned, like reaching out to various different, rehabilitation centers and things like that. Is there a resource for a golf course to go to in their community and like one spot, one number, one thing to kind of to connect with paragolfers and all that? Is there a resource for that?
ParaGolf Canada will connect you to the physiotherapists that are in your area. We'll do the work for you. Like I look at a teaching pro. What a way to increase your revenue. And you're getting the people to come to you. You reach out to a therapist and just say, hey, listen, do you have any clients that maybe played golf? And they're going to say, yeah. And say, okay, well, you know what? Our facility is an inclusive facility. They're going to revenue source for you. They're going to bring you their clients. Simple as that. And every teaching pro is looking for more business. I know that. And then the spin-offs from that is huge. And then all of a sudden now you get these people playing golf at your golf course. Now you got food and beverage. And you got to remember that most of these golfers are not coming alone. Most of these golfers need a little bit of assistance out on the golf course. So they're bringing 3 of their friends. Now you're getting F&B. Now you're getting green fees. Now you're getting power cart rentals. There's a lot of money that's left on the table by not experiencing adaptive golf. And it's so new right now, and I understand that, but, we're changing. We're on the tipping point right now. Inclusion, diversity, as you know, is a hot button topic. And what I've seen in most seminars is there's 4 pillars of inclusion and diversity. The first pillar is gender, and we're doing such a great job in the golf industry of getting more women to play. Then there's race. Then there's sexuality. And then disabilities just kind of brushed over lightly. So if we can bring that to the forefront, we can keep on growing the game of golf in a different demographic.
So true. Todd, you're a golf professional. You teach the game. You've taught people of all ages, skills, and abilities, and various different things. What advice would you give a golf professional in that does reach out to a physiotherapist or someone does show up, and has a physical limitation of some kind? What advice would you give to the golf professional on how to provide instruction to someone that has a challenge with some physical aspect of their abilities?
The biggest thing is communication. Like there's not a lot different from teaching, I'm going to say an able-bodied person to somebody that's differently able. It's communication. But we're coming up with we're working right now. We're almost finished a certification program that is going to be for golf instructors. That's going to be for health professionals, and it's going to be bridging that gap. But it's going to be allowing the golf professional to understand the body, to understand what are some of the characteristics of a stroke patient? What are the characteristics of someone with cerebral palsy? Then it's taking the physiotherapist and giving them the nuances of the golf swing. And it's basically trying to, how far can we push the envelope with an individual to get them into the best swing possible? And it's what we do on a daily basis, whether it's a guy that's, a +2 handicap or it's somebody that's a 30 handicap. We're just trying to push them to get to the best swing possible. And what we're trying to do with adaptive golf, there's a bunch of little nuances that we have to take into consideration. I have a prosthetic leg that's designed for myself. That's any able-bodied person can put themselves into this leg. But, if I can't get myself in the same situation that this person is in, I'll never understand how to teach them. And the first thing that happened when I put the prosthetic leg on and I started hitting golf balls, I didn't trust the prosthetic to support my weight. So my opposite butt cheek was on fire with the lactic acid after 10 shots. And I'd get out there and I'd be telling somebody with a prosthetic leg, hit balls we're going to do a half-hour lesson. And it'd be like nonstop. And after doing this, I'm like, damn, I got to give them some time and some break. And the same thing, when we work with somebody in a wheelchair situation, there's so many little nuances. And that's what the training course is all about, because we're going to be putting people into unique situations so they can now walk the walk and talk the talk.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's very valuable. Very valuable. Thank you. Our listeners can't see us two gorgeous bald men on the screen, but I can see you, and I can also see your Adidas golf bag and the great shirt that you're wearing from Adidas. And I remember in some of the research, you've had some great sponsorship, some great support. I'm not going to call it sponsorship. You've had some great support from different organizations, and that must be valuable for ParaGolf Canada and for you as well in your travels. Let's just talk a little bit about who's supporting you, because I think it's very important.
So literally right off the bat in 2014, David Bradley, Leslie Hawkins reached out to me with, David is with TaylorMade Canada. Leslie Hawkins was with Adidas Golf. They saw the program. They said, we want to be involved. We don't know how, but we're going to be involved. And literally they've supported the program from day one. And it's a phenomenal give and take situation. But with having those two, it gave the program instant credibility. Club Links jumped on board, which is, one of the largest 48 golf courses, I believe, in Ontario and Eastern Quebec. They've rolled out the red carpet on the program of, hey, we're going to open up our golf courses, Todd, to whatever you need, whether it be practice facilities, whether it be going out and providing you with opportunities to play. Now we're rolling out hard, and a lot of golf courses are stepping up, saying they see a lot of value in this. They want to be involved. They want to know how to be involved. And I always start small. Let's just get our feet wet, see if it's something that we can do, and then we'll grow it year after year. To me, it's about building a relationship, and we're building a lot of relationships with golf clubs. We're building a lot of relationships with junior programs, with junior tours. And it's growing. As I said, we're at the tipping point right now, and things are happening. So the support, I would never be able to do this without the support of the golf industry. And the golf industry is really starting to step it up because A, they see value in it for their property, and B, it's a feel-good story. It really is when you give somebody back the opportunity to play. And everybody wants to be a part of it.
How does a golf course get in touch with you, Todd? What's the best way for a golf course to implement and connect with and be part of this amazing, fantastic journey that you've taken the industry on?
ParaGolfCanada.com. All the information's on there. I would love to hear from other golf courses. I would love to hear that we're growing all the way across Canada right now. We're in BC. We're in New Brunswick. I'm from Ontario, so we're big in Ontario. We're all across the country now. We have over 300 members, and literally we just got started.
And when you say 300 members, do you mean 300 individuals part of your program, or do you mean 300 courses that are working with you? 300
members right now. Soon to be a big amount of golf courses, but 300 members, and literally I'm getting memberships. People are approaching me asking for help, advice that are in the adaptive world, like 3 a day. So it's growing by leaps and bounds. People never had this community before. Everybody's been doing it. They think they're on their own. But now with this, they have a sense of community. And really that's what it is. You have incredible associations that are doing some great stuff. You have Blind Golf Canada, You have the Canadian Amputee Golf Association, but everybody's been working in silos over the years. And to me, it's just, let's sit at the same table. Let's bring people together. It doesn't matter what your ability is. We're going to make a community to make you feel welcome. And it's bringing people together to know that they're not alone.
I love it. Todd, if a club wanted to get you to bring you out to their charity event or their club event, or to have you speak at their event, would they connect with you through ParaGolf Canada or through your own platform?
Yeah, so either through ParaGolf Canada or another website called TK Inspire. TK Inspire. Todd Keirstead, TK Inspire. It has everything with the golf entertainment. As I said, we raised, 2019 before COVID locked. I helped raise almost $3.8 million for various charities around the world. That 2018, 2019 was huge. I got hired by the U.S. military. I traveled around to 45 military bases all over the world, doing almost like the old Bob Hope USO tour. We're kind of, myself and a very near and dear friend of mine from Florida, we were putting on like a Harlem Globetrotter show. And we were in Japan, South Korea, Germany, Italy, UK, all through the U.S. at famous bases like Andrews Air Force Base, Edwards at Camp Pendleton. What a great way to see the world. But you're giving back to the individuals that have given us our freedom, and to say thank you for all the service that they've done to give us our freedom. So it was awesome. And then in 2017, was heavily involved with the Invictus Games, which was the Prince Harry initiative. It was a wounded warrior. 17 countries congregated to Toronto, 550 athletes. So I was on the organizing committee for that. Had the amazing privilege of spending 45 minutes with Prince Harry at St. George's Golf Club in Toronto, talking to him about golf and how it's helping out our ill and injured soldiers all over the world. So the game of golf has given me so much that, to me, it's just, this is my way of giving back. It really is.
Todd, you are an inspiration, my friend. Just wonderful to listen to your stories, to listen to your passion, to understand the ambition that you have to open the game of golf to every individual, and really, man, you're to be admired. And thank you so much for what you do from the golf industry and from Gig Nation. Thank you so much for giving us your time to have this conversation. I really am going to think about I'm going to do what I can do to help grow ParaGolf Canada and to help the industry welcome everybody in their facility. And I just really want to thank you, and really just want to pass on my admiration for your efforts, because people like you is what makes the golf industry such a wonderful industry, both in Canada and everywhere around the world. I continue to meet individuals that love the game and give back to the game. And I think that's what makes our industry so special.
You know what? Thank you so much for the platform. And really, it's just, I don't think I'm doing much. I just think I'm giving people an opportunity. But, working with, I just was in Calgary a couple months ago working with Ryan Strzelnicki from the Humboldt Broncos. He's an ambassador for hockey with Adidas. He's paralyzed from the chest down. Obviously, we've all heard of the Humboldt Broncos. He reached out to Adidas to say, listen, I've got a little bit of an interest to play the game of golf. And I was brought out to Calgary to work with Ryan, and literally within 10 minutes, we had him hitting the ball 120 yards out of his wheelchair. And to me, it was just two hockey players, because I grew up playing the game of hockey. It was two hockey players having fun on the driving range. And it wasn't until I hopped in my car driving back to the hotel that I was like, holy cow, I think I made a difference. And it really did. Now he's playing in a simulator throughout the wintertime. And that's the great thing about it. We're not doing anything different. We're not doing anything special. We're just giving people an opportunity. That's all it is.
Well, I love that. And thank you so much. And we certainly appreciate what you do, and all the best and good luck as you continue your journey, Todd, with promoting ParaGolf Canada and getting it in every single golf course in the country. And to all of our Gig Nation, take a moment to think about how your club can welcome every individual to enjoy this great game of golf. So thank you again, Todd. I appreciate it. Gig Nation appreciates it. And we look forward to chatting again and hearing your progress.
Thanks so much, James. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Thanks for listening to the Gig Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode and mostly that you learned a few things that will help you improve your business. Join us next time as we continue to bring you the best and brightest golf and hospitality leaders on the planet. Thanks for listening.